Today we're going to have a look at this pen, which I think might be quite popular because it's a pocket pen, and I have found that people like pocket pens. Not everyone, but there is a group of people out there that really likes pocket pens. So if that's a group you're part of, this pen is for you. This pen was sent to me by Hongdian. Very kind, thank you for sending me this. And I think it's a very cool pen, and it has one feature that I absolutely love. I'm not going to give away what it is yet, but I will soon. So, a very kind thank you to Hongdian for sending me this. Let's have a look at the M2. I'm going to cover the parts of the pen. I'll do a writing sample. I'll tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it. This pen, in my mind, has quite a lot going for it. And it's really quite affordable too. So, let's get started. Alright, so here we go with the Hongdian M2. It came in this box. I've seen these boxes before for Hongdian pens that they have sent me. Sorry, it's a little hard to open up. I quite like these boxes because they're kind of cute. So you have a cardboard outer sleeve, and then you have this sort of metal box, which I think is quite nice. What I like about these boxes, they're actually hinged. And you could just rip out this this soft stuff, and then you have a cute little tin that you can put some pens in on your desk or whatever. Is that just me? Maybe, but I just like them. Let's have a look at this actual pen. So here we have the pen. I will zoom in so you can actually see it a bit more. It's a pocket pen. Here, right next to a Pilot Metropolitan. So as you can see, I mean, it's a pocket pen, isn't it? It's that simple. Let's talk about it a little bit, and then I'll show you the different parts. So there are various finishes available. There's a nice army green, for example. There's a pretty cool orange red. This is the all black stealth version, which I thought was quite nice. It's made out of aluminum, or if you prefer aluminium, they said online it's only 12 grams. I think that's for the pen, not the pen plus cap. And as I just said, there are different anodized, I didn't say anodized, but there are different finishes available. They're anodized aluminum. It's a streamlined, sleek design. What I found a little puzzling was that online it said a titanium black extra fine soft nib. That came from the Amazon description, but this really feels, handles, and looks to me like a steel nib. It's also fine and not extra fine. So I don't know if there is maybe an upgrade available somehow, or if that was a sort of a typo or whatever, referring to another model, but in any case, I'm pretty sure mine just has a steel nib. The price on these on Amazon, $27.98. That's Canadian, not US, so I think these are really, really reasonably priced pens. And what I found very interesting in this day and age is that Hongdian says that all their pens are hand assembled and hand tested before they go out. And I will say, out of the box, it wrote absolutely beautifully, and there was a bit of blue ink in it, so I'm sure they actually do test them. I wish all companies would do that. Visconti. Now, let's talk about the pen in some more detail. So on top here, we have what looks to me to be a yin-yang symbol, but with cats. At least that's how I interpret this, but let me know what you think. So we have that, which I thought was actually kind of cute. Then we have a nice little clip, and that clip is spring-loaded, and you can sort of operate it by pushing up there. I found it a little easier to just grab it there. We have right there in a blind engraving Hongdian M2, and the rest is just cap. Now it's a large cap because it's meant to be posted because it's a pocket pen. So when you unscrew the pen, you get this. And just to give you an idea for size, this is the cap, and I just, in this case, just want to show you again Pilot Metropolitan so you get a bit of a feeling for how big or small this Hongdian is. Let's continue with some of the parts of the pen itself. On the back, we have just this, it's just a solid barrel. It's not really solid because it's hollow on the inside, but you know what I mean. It's one, I hope you know what I mean. It's one piece. And it's nicely rounded off. I really like that. It's very comfortable. There's no sharp edges or anything. I did like, by the way, that this cap actually has this sort of lid or lip, I should say, going on, which I thought was kind of cute. Okay, so we have that on the pen. Then we have a section that tapers down, flares out a little bit, and that intensely black nib. Now I'll make sure there is a close-up of the nib on the website. It says Hongdian and it says F for fine. It's a number 5 nib, and it has a plastic feed. Unposted, this pen is pushing it for me size-wise, but that's the whole point. You just post it by slipping the cap on the back. It's a very secure post. And then you have a nice full-sized pen that works very well. It's very comfortable, and because everything here is so nicely rounded off, I didn't find any sharp corners or anything that might make writing with this pen a bit unpleasant. I will say these threads are a little bit sharp, but they really haven't bothered me because even though it's a pocket pen, the section is actually quite, I don't want to say huge, but it's large enough for me to hold comfortably and not feel those threads. Likewise, this front end of the section is really nicely rounded off and not at all sharp. So it's a very pleasant pen to hold, I have found. Now, the one feature that I absolutely loved about this pen is that it comes with a converter. So many pocket pens don't come with a converter, or it's a special order, special buy separate thing. Think of the Sailor Pro Gear, the minis, that kind of stuff, but then you need to get that mini converter. It's a separate purchase, even though that pen is actually not cheap, a lot more expensive than this one, and you just get a converter, which is just a smaller size converter, but it works really well. It draws up ink without any issue, and I really love it. Now, it does look like it's proprietary, but as I said, I will try it out on some, I don't think you've seen that part of the video yet, but I will try it out on some other pens and see if it fits. Works very well, and once again, I don't know if this is aluminum. It certainly looks and feels like aluminum to me, but it could be something else. In any case, again, all very nicely rounded off. It's a really sleek design, and I really like that. And yes, this is one piece, so I guess you could eyedropper it, but with metal, I found that sometimes that interacts with the ink, and you get strange discolored ink, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend using this as an eyedropper. I'm just grabbing some paper, then we can do a writing sample. Let's maybe zoom in a tiny bit. That might have overdone it just a bit, sorry. Here we go. Hongdian. I've seen this both as 1 and 2 words, so I'm just going to sort of cheat, and it could be either there. M2, this is a fine steel nib, and the ink is Eldergraph blue. Very nice, washable blue, I found. Writing. Pretty smooth. What I have found in the past, and I've pointed out a couple of times, but I'll point it out again, is that if you have a black coated nib, the tipping is coated too, and that does create a specific type of feedback. You can take very, very, very fine micro mesh and try to just sort of grind that off, but be careful, because you could change the geometry of the nib and make it write less pleasantly, or you can just wait, because usually when you've written with it for quite a while, that coating will wear off. You see a little silver colored bit of tipping exposed, and usually becomes smoother. In this case, I actually find it pretty smooth to begin with. It's just some really fast writing. So I really have not had any issues with the smoothness of this pen. As to its wetness, pretty good. Not excessively wet, but not dry. Really nicely balanced nib. What about line variation? Well, again, I don't believe this particular nib is titanium. Titanium nib have a very specific feel. If you ever used one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This feels like a steel nib, so I'm assuming that was just an accidental description, or maybe you can find them with titanium nibs elsewhere. This is not titanium. I also have the feeling the price of the pen will go up from the under 30 Canadian that it is. Okay. You can do reverse writing without issue. Doesn't become super scratchy. doesn't dig into the paper, and you go from a fine nib to a nice extra fine nib. So if you like that sort of thing, this is certainly an option. As fine nibs go, I think this is a really pleasant one. I have seen medium nibs write like this, so I think it's a very, very pleasant nib and a pleasant pen to write with. Also, one of the things I like about metal pens sometimes is that you can close them by just giving this a twist, and it's done. And you can open them up. Now, there's probably ink in the cap, so I've done that to myself, but here we are. Why don't we discuss some likes and dislikes? What do I like and what do I not like about the Hongdian M2? First of all, I shouldn't have worn a black shirt because the pen, well, it doesn't fully disappear, but it's not easy to see, so I'll try to hold it up against the wall here. What do I like about it? It's comfortable and it's reliable. And I had the pleasure recently of reviewing a Visconti that cost 70 times as much as this pen, and it did not write. Whereas this pen out of the box wrote straight away, has not run dry, has not skipped, has not hard started, it just keeps going. I'm not trying to bash Visconti, but I'm trying to make a general point. We have seen a lot of very expensive pens that out of the box barely write very poorly. This pen writes. Now, Hongdian says that I was looking at their Amazon store, and they do say that all these pens actually get tested before they are sold. And actually, when I clean the pen, which is what I always do when I get in a pen for review, I first clean it with a little bit of dishwashing detergent and then water. There was some blue ink in it, so I do genuinely believe that is a true claim. And all I can say is it writes. So what more could you wish for? It's comfortable. I find it comfortable. It's a fun pen. It's really pushing it for me to use this unposted, but once you post it, nice and secure posting, lovely pen, very pleasant writer. I really enjoy using it. And I am not one of those people who absolutely adores pocket pens or something, but they serve a nice purpose. And I do think this is a very nice exemplar. Nice details too, like this spring-loaded clip. Nice, especially on a pen less than $30 Canadian. That, in my mind, is a really good deal for a fountain pen, especially one that writes as pleasantly as this one. You also get a spring-loaded clip. There's good eye for detail, and I think it's really quite impressive. Now, I told you at the start there was one feature I really like, and frankly, it's very simple. It comes with a converter. How many pocket pens have you seen or seen reviewed that don't come with a converter, and then it turns out you can't find a proper converter for it? This looks to me like a proprietary kind because the nipple looks quite wide. It looks to me just a little bit wider than Standard International. I haven't had a chance to really try it out, but I look forward to testing it out on some other pens, and I will try to get back to it. And if I do find some other pens that are problematic, but this fits in, I'll try to let you know. I don't have that many pocket pens, but you get the point. I will do my due diligence at that point. I didn't want to make this video longer than it has to be, although with explaining all this, it has already become longer than it needed to be. But there we are. So I think it's really great, and I'm serious. In a lot of pens, this is not awfully different in price from, say, Kaweco Sport, but those don't come with a converter. You have to purchase it separately. Kaweco has gone through some iterations with their converters. I think they have one that works fairly well now, but having said this, it's great. It works like a normal converter. It draws up ink very well, and it has a reasonable capacity that I haven't fully measured, but surely this is not nothing. And I really like it. The ease with which you can now use bottled ink is great. So sorry for spending so much time on it, but I really thought that was worth pointing out. A well-made, properly working converter, I think, is really neat in a pocket pen. So, converter included, comfortable, reliable, spring-loaded clip. Oh God, I dropped it, but fortunately it fell right in my chair. Entertainment and S.B.R.E. Brown video is an important part of why you watch this, isn't it? All right, so we have that. Price is right. I really think the price is right. And I know you can get cheaper pens, but I mean, you can always get something that's cheaper. It works. Aluminum, robust, nice material, light. The only thing I will say is it can scuff a little bit. So let me just really jam that cap on there as I post it. I hope you'll be able to see this. You see that at the end of the barrel? That is a bit of a scuff mark, isn't it? But magic, it just comes off. Now, I'm sure that if you do this, if you use this pen for a very long time, I would not at all be surprised if you will see some more permanent marks. I found that the anodized aluminum, sometimes you get some sort of chips and you start to see these sort of, you know what I mean, sort of silvery aluminum color more. I think that's kind of charming. It means that you're using the pen. But if you're someone who likes to keep things absolutely pristine, maybe see if you can find another pen, like a plastic Iveco Sport that will not chip. There you have it. I hope this was useful. A very kind thank you to Hongdian for sending me this pen. This was a really fun review to do for me because I find this a really pleasant, really nice, really comfortable pen that's affordable too. And it writes. What more could you wish for? I hope this was useful. I hope you've been entertained. And I'll gladly see you later. Bye.